Hey guys, Sam Fronsman here, and welcome to today's vlog. In the last episode, I talked about how I first got into filmmaking while studying media production at the University of Mount Union, specifically while I was working on my very first short film, Crossfire. Well, today I'd like to pick up where I left off and talk about the next step in my journey to becoming a filmmaker, graduating college. So after I finished Crossfire, I decided that even with all the flaws of that short film, I loved those characters and that story enough that I wanted to develop it further into a feature film, specifically one that would go back in time and kind of look at some of those characters' backstory. And while I did set off to writing that screenplay, one that would eventually evolve into the project I'm working on now, In the Hands of Fate, I knew that before I would jump into that project, there was still something major that I needed to prove to myself. See, I wanted to prove that not only could I make a second short film, but also that I could make one better than Crossfire, that I could make a short film competent enough to be able to make it into a film festival. Well, during my senior year of college, my wish was granted. As part of my senior culminating experience, I had to pick a topic, research it, and then create a multimedia project, one that would include a written piece, a podcast, as well as eventually culminating those two elements into a narrative short film that dealt with the research topic. Okay, so I decided to focus on the issues of domestic abuse, drinking and driving, and then combine that with the secondary research topic of media depictions in hell to create a short film that would eventually become One Hell of a Ride. During production of One Hell of a Ride, the big thing was this. I wanted to prove that I could learn from all the mistakes I made on Crossfire, especially the horrid sound design, and create a short film that lived up to my new standards of what a good short film was, but even more so one that could close out my college career and earn my first selection into a film festival. And I'm proud to say that One Hell of a Ride accomplished all of that. It was the film that closed out my college career, and more so, it was the very first short film to ever be accepted into a film festival. Huge shout out to Southern Ohio screenwriters for selecting One Hell of a Ride in 2021 for that year's SOS Indie Horror Film Fest. But with college over, I had a new problem. Something new that I needed to prove to myself. See, no longer did I know anybody else that was interested in filmmaking to the degree that I was. Nor did I have the resources from Mount Union to rely on. So could I still make another movie without relying on Mount Union? Could I do it on my own? The truth is I had no idea. Because first of all, I was already struggling with trying to get a job out of college. I, for the life of me, could not. And even to this day, I still don't have a full-time job working in media production. So how would I get into filmmaking? You know, who in this area actually made movies? Who in Stark County, Ohio did I know that made movies? The truth is there is nobody, and I really had no idea if I'd ever be able to make another movie again. Well, little did I know that the next step in my filmmaking journey was just down the street from my childhood house.